Right here, Tim Walz calls for eliminating the Electoral College and switching to a national popular vote while fundraising at Gavin Newsom's private residence in Sacramento. So this was floating around on X a couple days ago. And then today, this interview came out just a few hours ago, him with Michael Strahan, and he was asked about this exact moment. Let's hear what he says.
I want to go back to something you said on Tuesday. You said, I think all of us know the Electoral College needs to go. But the campaign came out later that night, and they said that's not their stance.
Yeah. Well, it's not the campaign's position. And the point I'm trying to make is that there's folks that feel every vote must count in every state.
Oh my God, so he's not denying it.
And I think some of folks feel that's not the case. Our campaign does that. And the point I'm saying is I'm in 5 states in 2 days. We're out there making the case that the campaign's position is clear, that that's not their position. Their position and my position is to make sure that everybody understands their vote, no matter what state they're in, matters.
So that's something that you and Vice President Harris disagree on?
I have spoken about it in the past, that she's been very clear on this.
In the past, what, 2 days ago?
And the campaign, and my position is the campaign's position.
I want to go back to...
So this is incredible. You cannot, like, Tim Walz's position here is so radical. It's so elitist. Tim Walz, in my opinion, is objectively a terrible choice for VP. He comes out there, the way he waves at people, no one waves like that. He's like all his weird mannerisms, like it's so bizarre. At first glance, maybe you say, oh, he's relatable. He's like a football coach or whatever, but I think he's done a terrible job. This position is so crazy. This would totally hollow out middle America even more than has already happened. If you have a national popular vote, you're just going to campaign in major cities. You're just going to go to places like California, New York City, maybe like just major cities in Texas, Seattle, Washington. You're just going to focus so much on large cities. There's going to be almost no incentive for politicians at a national level to really care about the middle of the country. That already happens to a large degree, just across America, across other countries as well. The middle, the rural part of countries have been forgotten about. If you had a national popular vote, this would be catastrophic for so many parts of America. You'd have a policy where the whole goal would be basically as far right on economics as you possibly can. All these corporations, even when they pretend to be woke, they're always as far right as you basically can get on economics. They cut costs like crazy if they want to. They are so much focused on increasing the bottom line of their company. You can argue that that's actually good, but if you had a national popular vote, all you'd care about is just how the absolute number in the country is doing. So you do any policy to increase GDP, basically to make these cities more of like a utopia. You'd have way more free trade, as an example right now, even at the detriment of people that work in like factories in the middle of your country. This would totally incentivize just unfettered free trade. And who cares what happens to the workers in Idaho? We need to court voters that want to increase their standard of living in like Philadelphia and just large cities around the country. So this policy is so out of touch. I think it's so disqualifying if you're someone that lives in like the middle of America in a town, and this guy's gonna be the vice president. He didn't deny it at all. He clearly likes the national popular vote, which again, that means if you actually did this, every campaign stop, every like rally speech, they just go Los Angeles, New York City, Seattle, Washington, Los Angeles, maybe like Houston, Texas. They just bounce around. Miami, Florida. This would be it would just be city, 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 city. How do we grow the economic pie? How do we make life better for rich people? How do we make life better for these cities? Because that's how we're going to win elections. What do you think a random town in Wisconsin of like even a smaller city of like 30,000 people, like say Madison, Wisconsin, doesn't matter. Whatever, they can vote however they want. We're way more focused on this city with 5 million people. So that's just incredibly out of touch. That is such a, oh my goodness, I can't believe he clearly thinks that's a better way to do it. And I think that's just objectively would be so harmful for the majority of the country. Maybe it would be better for rich people because they can just keep maximizing their economic growth for the country. I think that policy as well would be way more interventionist, because America would just have the more incentive to just like show its might globally, and we wouldn't, as like a way of saying, oh, we care about national defense. I think that would be an incentive for them to just keep buggering around in other countries, because you just have maybe more free trade. You'd have a bit more economic growth. You'd have a little bit more tax dollars to spend. Probably those big cities, because they do, a lot of them right now at least, they're very interventionist. They want basically America to run around and tell everybody in the whole world how to live. I think this would be bad. I think it'd be, and also probably this would just advance the woke agenda even more, because those big cities, for whatever reason, they're socially about as left as you can go. Economically, they're about as right as you can go in terms of just growing that economic pie, which I don't, anyway, that's for another video. I don't necessarily think it's bad, but it's bad at the detriment of your middle of your country if you just only care about total GDP growth. You need to care about the middle class having a sustainable and like a good life and be able to afford homes and stuff like that. So anyway, with that said, I'll end the video here, but if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and have a great day.